In 2013, at the age of 45, I was diagnosed with Mixed Connective Tissue Disease, chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Any one of those by themselves can be completely debilitating, but they don't have to be, and I'd like to share with you how I'm overcoming them all. Hello, and welcome to the exFatigue channel. My name is Mark, and I'm here on another lovely winter's day in Western Australia with a message of hope to anyone suffering from CFS or a debilitating autoimmune condition. If you hear any unusual sounds during this video, there are carrack feeding in the tree above me, whistling kites circling overhead, kangaroos on site, the ever-present mischief of magpies, some kookaburra, and my chickens are on the loose, so it could be any or all of those, or something entirely different. I'm currently winning this war after a major change in diet a year ago. I have lots of information about my journey which I'd love to share, including tips and tricks that are helping me in all the battles and some of the pitfalls I've encountered along the way. So if any of this interests you or affects someone you care about, please do keep watching. I'll put links to most of what I mentioned in the description below, so skip straight to that if you like, and I'll be updating the description as I make new videos. Victims of these types of illness are often so utterly drained that they simply give up on life. So for me to be able to sit here and tell you that I think I'm close to overcoming the whole gamut of them really is a privilege. Now, I have been here before, and I often wonder if I jinx myself when I tell people of my successes, but as much as this is about getting a message out there, for me personally, it's also an exercise in positive manifestation, affirmation, and a method of keeping myself on track. So, now it's June 2024, and for over a decade, I've spent much of my time researching these ridiculous conditions and putting into practice what I've learned. This has often been a roller coaster ride, which has led me to eating a whole food vegan diet for 5 of those years, doing the paleo keto thing, and developing a complicated supplement regime, which did eventually see me achieve practically complete remission at the end of 2020. I enjoyed 3 months of great health and rapidly improving fitness. I was swimming in the ocean every day, and I could run pain-free for the first time in over 20 years. And that's when I had the idea for this channel. But then it was time for me to roll up my sleeve for the good of the nation and get jabbed. Well, I won't go into the details of what happened next in this video, albeit to say I was briefly hospitalised and relapsed within a few days. All of my previous symptoms came back with a vengeance, together with a host of new ones that I'd never experienced before. And everything I'd been doing leading up to and during my remission then only gave me some partial relief. So, why am I telling you this, you may be wondering? Well, for the last year, I've been eating an animal-based diet and have seen such huge improvements in my energy levels, a remarkable reversal of tissue damage, an elimination of gut problems, and an overall general improvement in my health that I really do feel obliged to tell my story. For so long, we've all been told what to think, what to eat and drink, what not to, what's good for us and what isn't, and yet here I am having thrown most of that rhetoric out of the window and now doing so much better than I have done in the last 13 years. So if you've been doing everything right and getting nowhere or even going backwards, then I'd love to tell you about a few things that may just help shift that paradigm. Some of the videos I have planned for the channel include ones on BS diagnoses. CFS affects an estimated 17 to 24 million people worldwide. Fibromyalgia, possibly over 400 million, and MCTD, around 150,000. Yet none are a diagnosis of anything causative. Each is merely an umbrella diagnosis of elimination. Sadly, that often means once diagnosed, one's doctor has given up trying to get to the bottom of what is causing the illness and resorts to managing the symptoms and following protocols that simply don't work for most people. It's like going to hospital with a compound fracture of your femur and being told that you have hurty leg syndrome, so go home, take painkillers and rest. So I will bang on about the corruption of modern medicine by Big Pharma in that one, because I've been so adversely affected by this, and I know that so very much more could be done to help people in similar situations. I'll talk about my diet, which has been an absolute game changer. There are so many myths around food that we take as accepted truths, which simply need overturning, including those about saturated fat, healthy oils, superfoods, fantastic fruit and vegetables, evil salt, eating the rainbow fibre, food pyramids. The list goes on and on and on, and myself and thousands, if not millions of ordinary people out there have discovered it's mostly all utter garbage. My battle with coffee addiction and the terrible effect it might be having on so many of us probably warrants a whole video by itself, I think. Supplements and prescription medicines will need mentioning because, well, gee, I've tried so many, and in my desperation for a cure have wasted thousands and thousands of dollars on all sorts of different things and nearly succumbed to the adverse effects of prescription medicines at least 4 times. So that should be an interesting chat. And I will also talk about the few supplements that I do currently take and why I refuse to take some prescriptions modern medical protocols dictate that I should. I'll also talk about the one prescription medicine I do take that I missed for a couple of days 2 weeks ago, and how and why I think that allowed the actual underlying cause of my condition to get a temporary grip on me, which I'm about 75% recovered from today. I suppose I should also talk about my own vaccine injuries and why I think this animal-based diet is allowing my body to recover from them all, because I'm certain there are people out there who are getting the wrong advice and are not recovering at all. I'm also part of a class action case against the Therapeutic Goods Administration in Australia regarding its negligence in managing the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, which I suspect will be a bit of a modern day David and Goliath story. I'll do something on exercising with chronic fatigue, which is really such an important and difficult subject. I'll cover some critical lifestyle tips, including my 3 top tips on getting a full night's quality sleep. This is paramount for any sort of recovery, and I bet you can't guess what my number 1 tip is. Mental and physical health are often inextricably linked, and CFS victims are so often vilified, especially by medical practitioners who still frequently fall back on their psychosomatic get out of jail free card to deflect attention from their own ignorance and lack of willingness or inability to keep themselves updated on current research and best practice. Unlike mostly everyone else with the same condition, I've been a victim of this many times, and it's always a complete kick in the guts. That said, I don't think complete recovery is possible without a plan to upgrade all our aspects of health. So I will do something on my mental health regime and how it's helped me survive traumas like divorce and bereavement. Then, on a more upbeat note, probably the most exciting thing for me at the moment as part of my final big push to recovery plan is how I'm building a largely recyclable off-grid eco house to live in. I've been doing a lot of the work myself, which I know sounds like complete madness to many of you that know anything about chronic fatigue, and it is going to take ages, but budget and pacing necessarily dictate that, so there'll be a series of videos there on the build with what I hope will be some pretty cool time-lapse stuff, reviews of the house kit I have and am currently sitting on, the equipment and materials that I'll be using, I'm really excited about making a series on my plans to rehabilitate the 5-acre bush block I have here, with the long-term aim of making it a mini nature reserve for the 3 threatened and endangered species of black cockatoo that currently visit to feed and roost, but also for the many other species of plants and animals that I'm so very blessed to have here, and others that I hope to encourage. And then at some point within the next year, if everything goes to plan and things keep improving as they are, at least one video on how I have completely overcome this, according to the medical profession, incurable condition. So please do join me on my journey by hitting the like button, subscribe to see new videos, and what will really help me get this project running would be if you could please share. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to coin the new fatigue tax hashtag. Like the governments who rob us all and squander our cash under the guise of taxes, these debilitating conditions rob us of both money and that most precious of commodities, time. So I'll be using that on everything on that theme that I post, and invite you to do the same. I've put a link to my website below, which is very much an early work in progress and not at all up to date, but does include all the links to my various social media accounts, including my Rumble page, where I'll be uploading all my videos, including any banned by YouTube. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you here again soon.